It's a balmy 47 degrees, not too bad. The wind's a little chilly. You might notice that I'm wearing a cowboy hat. Suzanne said that she can't see my eyes when I'm wearing a ball cap. So she said I could wear a cowboy hat, and I bet she didn't know I'd pull it down so low over my eyes. But I'll look up so you can see me. I'm on the phone with, should I use your real name? Gabby. Gabby from the chat is on from Springfield, Missouri, and she's going to relay your questions and snarky comments to me. Let's see. What has happened in the last few days? It's really exciting around here. Oh! Well, she's not there now, but as you all are well aware, our favorite girl, Harriet, has returned. A year to the day. That amazes me. That just amazes me. I am ridiculously excited that she's back. A year ago, I was excited a little bit, the Osprey, Harriet, everyone's excited. She comes here every year, blah, blah, blah. But man, this is nuts. I'm so excited. She's my role model, actually, at this point. She's been around. She's done it all. Look in those eyes, and she scares you. So I'm going to be Harriet from now on. That's my role model. I want to scare people. I probably do. So maybe I'm going to stand here and kind of mill around, and hopefully she'll come back while we're on, which would be fantastic. So what can I say? What kind of questions do you have? I just moved. You see that I moved Lewis and Clark into the arena. I had a meeting with Suze this morning, and it's time to get everyone off the grass. New grass, spring grass, and when it starts coming back in the winter, is really rich in, we say sugar, but it's actually a certain kind of carbohydrate, a certain kind of starch. And it's quite a shock to their system, and sometimes they can't handle it, and they can founder, they can get sick, and we don't want that to happen. So it's time to pull them off the grass. So Lewis and Clark will be living here much of the time. I'll probably move them into the round pen or into a larger paddock during the day, so Doc or Chief or Bonnie and Clyde can walk around and stretch their legs. And the rest of the herd will be cutting over a few at a time to get them off the pasture. They're going to get, let me see, Calvin will be here on the 20th of this month to shoe 5. That's all he has time for, and we're going to shoe the 5 that are going to be taken up to use to clear the trail for the season. I think Jessie Rogers might do it. You probably all remember her, maybe. I don't know. Was Jessie here when you guys were here? She was a manager, I think.
Her name.
Okay. And then Chase is going to go. Chase was the handyman we had, that neat guy. He went back to pause up, but I think he's going to clear trail. And so we'll have those 5 shod, and the rest of the herd gets done May, I think it's 3rd. So you'll see that kind of activity around. I said I was going to put Chief in the corral with those guys, but I didn't really have time to keep an eye on them to make sure it was fine. So I'll do that maybe when I have more time. And what else is there?
Isla wants to know who will come back from the pasture first.
Oh, Isla. She always makes me have to use my memory. I believe it's, but don't hold me to this, Chinook, Whiskey, Rocket, and we're going to shoe Monty and Erskine. So it might just be those 3 for the very beginning. Now, Pony Club starts April 16th. Everyone will be back by then, again, to get them off the grass and for the Pony Club and homeschool kids to ride. So that's my plan. We'll see what happens.
And you may have already answered this when you were talking about Chief, about what made you choose Chief and Monty together.
Because they're stalled next to each other during the season, so I figure they would, they knew each other pretty well. And also I've noticed, when I first let Chief out, he would run this arena fence because he wanted his herd back.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's standing over by the gate with Monty. They may not be the best buds, but they know each other pretty well. I'm running out of space for the time being. I thought I could bring Rocket over and put Rocket and Chief in here. It also depends on Chief's boots and pads on his feet. I need to keep his feet dry and protected and comfortable. But if it gets real wet, I have to pull his boots off, and then he'll be in his stall in the straw, so he has a soft place to be.
Okay, Bob wants to know if special shoes will help him. Farriers will say that, and a lot of vets will say that. They'll put bars on and special things. Chief has had, he had shoes and pads last year, and he's still lame. So we had a barefoot trimmer, Doc's barefoot trimmer, come out and look at him, and his suggestion is boots for protection, pads for comfort, and we say backed off the toe. He cut the toe back quite a bit and put a good roll on it, so the horse's break over is more comfortable for him. And what happens often when you shoe a horse back to back, just always keep shoes on, for just not Chief specifically, but they tend to get contracted heels, where the heels kind of push together. So the barefoot trimmer way to go is to let the foot do what the foot needs to do to heal, and just keep it protect it and help it along as much as you can. There's so many theories and ideas that it's like when you go to a doctor and you get a second opinion and a third opinion, and they seem to contradict, and we just kind of do the best we can. The barefoot movement is real big on nutrition. Besides the mechanics of the hoof shows, the hoof reveals a lot about the nutritional needs of the horse. Doc, for instance, is on basically hay, water, and a mineral balancer, and that's what Chief is on, and we're talking about that for the herd going forward. It's really hard to know what to do, and some of it's all individual. It's not a one size fits all. So it's a bit of a trial and error balancing act, and we'll just see how he's doing. Okay. Love is wondering if you could temporarily run a fence or to separate the arena to make more room up until Pony Club time.
We could. I guess we could put panels across it. That's not a bad idea. You'd have to. I hate to give her that.
There goes that big
Forget it. That's a terrible idea. No, that's not a bad idea. I can move. She gives me such a hard time. She can take it too.
Mm-hmm.
Since no one's here now, I guess I could move that stock tank over here and fill it here. That's not a bad idea for the next couple of weeks. We probably have enough panels. If we have enough panels, that's not a bad idea.
You could get Love to come out and do it for you.
Oh, I would love that, because there's so much work here. Look at this manure, Love. Who was it on the chat that said, was it Sky, who said she'd help me muck when she gets here?
Yes.
Okay, Sky, you're on. One, you're on. Two, it'll be on the camera, and we'll mic you up also while you're doing it, so we can hear the. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, good. I like it.
And Suze wants to know when you are going to be out there buck naked.
Never.
Never. Pay you enough for that?
You can't. No, you really can't. I would say that 99% of human beings look better in clothes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You agree? Okay. No, never.
Never, never, never. You know, showing my calves in my SpongeBob SquarePants Christmas fleece was pretty much all as naked as I'm going to get. And you also, I did have socks on with my flip-flops, so even my feet aren't going to be naked.
Bibi wants to know why you aren't using the empty stalls by the paddock.
Because they're real small, and they're just for the daytime. That's just to hold the horses so we can go back and forth and get them for rides. But as is being demonstrated right now, it's important for horses to walk because they need circulation in their feet. Lots and lots of circulation. So, for example, horses with bad feet, you don't want to keep stalled. So that's why they have boots and pads, and I try to get everyone out most of the time. The donkeys have a pretty big space. I think the divas are fine. I think what I can also do for the next short while, possibly, is take down the panels where the Shetlands are and the one over, so they have a little bigger section. I know. I gave her a snack because did you hear them complaining? I gave everyone just a little bit of hay just so it's easier to move them that way. And then I had to distract Augie, Monty, and Erskine while I moved the Shetlands because that would be a disaster. If the Shetlands got loose in there, I mean a disaster.
Well, the divas just want camera time.
Yeah, I guess so. Hi! Those divas.
Let's see what Isla is asking here. Could you use the area that is fenced off by the mare's pasture and the arena behind you?
Here? This little section?
I guess that's, yeah.
Yeah, we could. It does have grass. We don't want anyone eating it. That would be the one thing. Little guys could get through the human walk-through. These two little walk-throughs that let us get in. This is here to keep horses away from it. It would not be a terrible stall, actually, for someone very mellow. I don't know, that would be something to talk to Suze about or ask Suze. It's a nice little spot. But we certainly can't use it now because of the grass. Oh, the sun's out.
Okay, her next question is, will you be using the stall on the back side of the barn?
Probably not. If we have to. It's quite small, so it would have to be for divas or Shetlands. And right now, I'm letting the straw and manure that's in there kind of decompose and get rid of it. But it could be a daytime stall. Also, though, I wouldn't want anyone to stick their head over when we're riding. So we can see about that.
True.
I think we ought to just put the divas in a big box and send them to one of you, and then we're good.
We still think we need babies.
No.
It would be so entertaining.
For you. Oh, they'd be adorable. I mean, yeah, but really? Here we are talking about space and you want more?
Oh, I love saying send them to her.
Okay. Deal. I'll drive them out. We can GoPro the whole trip and I'll drive them out. Does Isla have a big backyard?
I think she does. She's got lots of animals out there.
All righty. Done.
She wants to know how your dogs are.
My dogs are really good. Max had a chiropractic appointment today. You know, he's 13, the pug.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps ticking. He's the happiest little guy in the world. You know, his back legs aren't working that great, but he bombs around. I've nicknamed him Wobbles. He doesn't seem to mind that name. He's doing fine. He spent a couple days in the office with me. He really likes the office. I think it's because he's not with Inu the healer, because she's very controlling, and she scares him.
Oh.
So Inu blew out her knee. Her meniscus and her CCL were both torn. She's on. She can't have surgery because she's too old for anesthesia. So she's on some Chinese herbs for Chinese herbal medicine. And it's been a couple months, and I think what happens is it develops a lot of arthritis to stabilize it. So she's getting. I mean, she never slowed down for half a second because she's a healer. I've tried to keep her quiet, but you'll see her out and about. She kind of took off a couple times today and came back with a manure all over her face, so I know where she's been. And Arrow is fantastic. They're all 11, 12, and 13 years old. But they're doing okay. Driving me nuts. Yeah, they're fine.
How old is Doc?
Doc is 17.
Okay.
He turned 17 on January 10th.
And when did you get him? How long have you had him?
I've had him 12 years. I got him when he was 5. He was a month off the track. I didn't have a vet check. I didn't get on him. He's just so handsome. What are you going to do?
Yes, he is gorgeous.
He is gorgeous. And he's doing okay. I had a couple scares with his feet, but one of them's doing quite well, and one of them I have to keep an eye on. So we're hopeful that he's healing, so that's good.
Good.
Yeah, he can do whatever. He can be as obnoxious as he wants.
He's a lover, though, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He is. And we were talking on the chat about smelling horses yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever, right?
Yes.
It is.
If someone could bottle that, make a mint.
A mint. You wouldn't have any need for medications or therapists or anything. You just smell a horse, right?
Right.
So what is your horse experience, Gabby?
Oh, not very good. I love horses, and I love being around them. I love being around a barn, and I love to smell them and love on them and groom them and do all that. I like to ride a little bit, but not as much as I just like being around them.
Yeah.
But I go on trail rides once in a while just to get my horse fixed.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, there's a place down between here and Branson that has trail rides that I go to once in a while. But I've been so busy the last couple of years, I haven't gotten down there. But I had 2 horses for a while, years ago, probably 25 years ago or so, but neither one of them worked. There's a place here that's just a block from me that has a little ranch, and she had mostly saddlebreds, but she had a few others. But I got a saddlebred from her that she showed, and she was really tall, and then I got and she was so well trained. You could just, if you were grooming her or something, you just walk around and she'd have her next foot lifted up before you got to the next foot.
Wow.
To groom her or whatever. But,
yes.
She was just too much horse for me, and I also had a paint that quarter horse that I kind of got for the kids, my son mainly, but he kind of lost interest, and I was interested too. But when I bought her, they said, she was new to them, and they didn't know anything about her really, and that was kind of a mistake. But she was afraid of everything. She's kind of like my dog. She was afraid of everything, and you put her on the cross ties in the barn, and the wind had come up and blow the barn door, and she actually rolled in the cross ties a couple of times on me.
Oh boy.
And then if she and the saddlebred were in the same arena together, the saddlebred would back her up in a corner and kick the daylights out of her.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So, and anyway, it was just never a good match for me. I always wished I could find a horse that would just come hang its head over the fence and wait for me to be there,
Yeah. Yep. I know. Well, you're welcome out here anytime to groom. It is shedding season. Yeah. That's neat. What kind of dog do you have?
She's a mix. We think she's got a lot of setter in her.
Mm-hmm.
She's a real pretty brindle. She's just got a
Oh.
real pretty mix of brown and black.
Uh-huh.
And she's real sweet, but she's afraid of everything. She does not like wind, and if you pick up a broom, she runs.
Yeah.
We think she had trouble, but we kind of wonder about the wind in that we got her just a month or so after a big tornado had gone through north of us, and
Wow.
she was from a no-kill shelter up there, and we wondered if she had gone through the tornado or something, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. You know, Arrow's afraid of anything that moves quickly. He doesn't like hoses or cords or anything like that. And since I got him, you know, from a shelter, I always wonder, too, what happened to him before.
Yeah.
You don't know. Same with horses. Same with people. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what they've been through.
She's the first one we've had for years that wasn't some kind of breed. We had 2 labs before her that I loved.
Yeah.
And before that we had cockers. And,
right.
But
so are you in the suburbs? And so you have a yard, or?
Yeah, we have a yard, but we're I guess it's pretty good size for a yard, but it's not real big, and we're just a block out of the city limits.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Nice.
So I'm forgetting to. Oh, they asked if you've seen the bunny lately.
No, I have not. I think he or she is gone.
Yeah, we were worried about the fox getting the bunny.
Yeah. I've seen things have moved. I know we have a mouse or two because I see things move quickly, but it's definitely not a rabbit.
Yeah. Did I see a while ago that you had a cat? Someone had a picture of a cat.
There was a cat, and you know it's funny because Monday Emma texted me and said, "Do we have a barn cat?" I'm like, "No," and then I just looked on the cam before I came out here, and there was a black and white cat or a gray and white cat. And sometimes in the snow I would see cat tracks. I know Jake had said that there's a cat that roams around, and now we've finally seen it. It better be careful. That's all I can say. Because I don't know about Colin cats, but I know that Arrow and Enu are not friendly toward cats, and that would be bad. Yeah. They both like things that run. So if it runs, it's in trouble. It's definitely in trouble. Enu's pretty fast, even with the knee.
Isla wants to know if there's any news on Augie.
Well, Augie, as you see, he's been pretty good. You know, I was rasping on his front feet. He's good. His back feet, he gave quite a bit of protest, and you probably couldn't tell it, but he tried very hard to lay down on me. So it's going to be a process. He's really, really mellow now, as you can see. The leading's pretty good. He still will get resistant, but he doesn't fight it so much. I think it's been really good having him out there with horses that put him in his spot. You know, he's not dominant out there at all. Hi, Augie, we're talking about you. Hi, handsome. He looked over. They all know their names. It's funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes I call him everyone has a nickname, and I call him the Auginator. Which I probably shouldn't, right? I should probably call him something calmer. But he's a good boy.
Well,
maybe I'll let Suze talk to you about, you know, his gelding date. Because that will be happening soon.
Might not want to say that out loud.
Augie. No, I measured him and I put it on the chat. He's 14.2. So that is officially horse size, and he's a substantial guy. I don't know, from the cam he doesn't look really, really solid, but he is. He's going to be incredible. Not that you're not right now.
I don't know if they're talking about your name, your Auginator name that Jake.
Auginator?
They're saying that they love Jake and Sky love that name.
Good.
They said I love that, and I'm not sure what they were talking about, but I think
Okay, the Oganator? Yeah. I had a little dog named Wag, years ago. I was living in Fraser Park, California, which is a tiny, 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 tiny town north of Los Angeles, and middle of winter, freezing cold, lots of snow, and outside the little market, someone had a box of puppies. They were 4 weeks old. And I said, don't look in the box, Kelly. Don't look in the box. Don't look in the box. Don't look in the box. I looked in the box. Ta-da! I looked in the box. So I took, I, of course, right then said, I'll take that one. And she, from 4 weeks to when she passed, 11 years later, she constantly wagged her tail. Constantly. So her name was Wag, and I would call her the Waganator. So it just seemed, I don't know, the Oganator. It just seems to make sense.
yes.
Why not? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's his name. Chief is Chieftain. Put that on Facebook. Monty is Montague. What else? When you're not here by yourself so much, you guys, your mind starts spinning. I love these horses so much.
I said I do that with all of mine too.
Yeah. Arrow is Scooby-Doo. Because my brother Scott, who will be here, by the way, April 25th, with his wife, my sister-in-law. My brother does not like horses. He's not comfortable around horses at all. My sister-in-law is a great rider, really great. So I'm going to take her on. Hopefully we can cross the river on April 27th, and I want to take her across the Bitterroot. Anyway, my brother had a dog named Maddie, and Maddie's favorite toy was a Scooby-Doo plush toy. And I lived with him for a month, and the first thing Arrow did was absolutely destroy Maddie's favorite toy. So ever since then, he's been called Scooby-Doo.
Suze was wanting a short horse for her last horse.
Yes, she was. She bred him to be small. And he's a big boy. Are you a big boy, Og?
Yes, I am, he says.
Yes, I am. He's got the greatest ears. How they curve up at the tips.
Oh.
Yeah. He's very handsome. Yes, it's almost like Arab ears, kind of. He's a good boy. He sleeps a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It worried me for a while, but I guess he seems fine. Now, here's a question for you all. You all know this more than me. Now that Harriet's back, do I keep these feeders full, or are we bringing them down?
Waiting for someone to answer here.
Susan, everyone knows but me.
Obviously, I don't either. I don't have memory on command.
You don't?
You have to wait for me to process and think about it.
If I forget something, I'm going to say I'm having a Gabby moment.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Nobody's answering.
No one's answering? I think they come down, but I'm not sure. Jake will know.
Yeah.
So Jake and Sterling are going to burn tomorrow. Jake, as you can see, you probably can't see because you're looking at me, but he's got the truck full of debris, and I'm going to give him some more, and they're going to do a nice burn tomorrow.
Oh, what does that smell like?
Burning wood.
Oh, it's burning wood?
Oh, burning wood. Yeah, that's all.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought you were burning the manure pile.
Oh, no, we don't want, no. It probably smells good because, man, manure, Gabby, is the best smell ever. It is the best smell. Well, there's been a... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's not as good as their hide.
No. I know. I smell Doc every night. It's just the best.
Through the night, every night.
It does every night. Then I know he's fine.
Yep. Anyway, go ahead about your...
There's been a smell here the last few days, and it smells like pipe tobacco.
Oh.
And it's everywhere. I don't smell it now, but it was so strong, I thought, someone around here. It's kind of a good smell. It's kind of bad and good at the same time, at least to me.
Oh, I love a pipe. I'll follow
Do
a
you?
pipe anywhere. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Sue says that the feeders come down.
All right. No more suet.
She says, take them down.
Take them down. I don't know how, but we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. What else can I say? That's it. I mean,
Did you live in California all your life?
I did. I'm 58 years old, and I lived there pretty much the first 50 years. There was a couple years in Colorado as a kid, then a couple years as an adult, a couple years in San Francisco. But pretty much, yeah, certainly born and raised. My parents are both from Los Angeles as well. Yeah, and I loved it, and I didn't understand what, all the negative things people say about it or about the people, and I loved it until the moment I didn't. And I was sitting on the freeway, as we say, the 405, and So a couple years prior, I had gone to Mongolia and rode a horse there for a couple weeks, out literally the middle of nowhere. All of Mongolia is the middle of nowhere. There's basically one city, which is the capital, Ulaanbaatar. But I wanted to take a horse trip, and I wanted to go to a place that was still horse-based, where the culture was horse-based. Because you can ride a horse anywhere. They have so many tours. And I went there for a couple weeks, and it was completely life-altering. And I came back to Los Angeles with just terrible culture shock. I had to be around green. Mongolia is so green, and it's actually wild thyme, by the way. It's not grass, which is so it smells fantastic. And I got back, and I'd been boarding Doc, and I said, no, I'm going to live with him. So I moved slightly north of Los Angeles to a place called Lakeview Terrace, kind of where all those fires were, actually.
Oh.
And I found a mother-in-law apartment on a quarter acre with a big paddock. So Doc and I moved there together. And then I just kind of hit the wall with Los Angeles. I was on the freeway one day, and I said, I cannot possibly do this. Sitting on the freeway, by the way. You don't really drive on the freeways. You sit or you creep. It's not exaggeration. And I said, this is ridiculous. And I quit my job. I gave away my belongings. I sent Doc to Colorado. And Errol and I got in my little two-seater convertible, and we drove to Colorado. And I started doing ranch jobs just so I could live with my horse.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
That's wonderful.
Now I'm in Montana, which is spectacular.
Yeah. Cold, but spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the clothes.
Were you teaching all that time you were in California?
I was in the entertainment business for 13 years, and then I became a teacher. When I think I was 40, and I decided I didn't really want to do it. There's nothing in the business I wanted to do, really. I didn't want to be an assistant anymore, and I didn't want to do this, and I didn't want to do that. I don't really have the personality for it. So I quit, and I started volunteering at my local elementary school, just to kind of, give back and do a good deed. And after 2 months, they said, you have a degree already. Why don't you enter this program, and you can be a teacher right now and go to these classes once a week for 2 years. And I said, okay. I usually just say okay in life. And it's worked out. And I was a teacher for 10 years, 4th and 5th grade.
Oh. So what was your job in entertainment?
Besides
being in a band.
The band was separate. That was earlier.
Oh, okay.
That was not entertainment. Oh, jeez. I'm alive to tell the tale. No, in the entertainment business, I was an executive assistant the whole time to the beginning development. Orion TV used to exist.
they did Cagney and Lacey and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was an executive assistant to the head of development for Orion TV. And it just kind of, I went every few years, I worked for this person or that person. I worked for the guys who did a lot of the Eddie Murphy movies. And then I worked for Diane English, who did Murphy Brown. I worked on her show called Love and War. And then my oldest friend was David Chase's assistant. David Chase, Rockford Files, things like that. And then she left to become her own writer-producer. She does a lot of producing now. And so she said, "Do you want my job?" I said, "Yes, please." And that was for David Chase. And he was at the time working on, what's that show called? Northern Exposure.
Oh.
So I was his assistant on Northern Exposure for a few years, and he also did some Rockford Files TV movies, and I got to work on those, which was great, because when you work for someone and you're in development, as opposed to actual production, you work really hard in development, reading, writing, all kinds of stuff. But when you're in production, your boss, be it a director or a producer, has their own staff. So you just get to go, you still work, but in the case of the Rockford Files, really all I had to do was sit on the beach at Malibu while they shot the show. I was an extra in a Rockford Files. I played an animal control officer, and I got to do a scene with Stuart Margolin, which was fun. And then David did The Sopranos, and so I was his assistant on the pilot. I got to live in New York on, who was it? Which studio was it? HBO and someone else. Anyway, HBO basically paid me to live in New York, which was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. David Chase is a great guy. The cast was great. Had a really, really good time. And then after that, I thought, I really don't want to do this anymore, and that's when I stopped to write another book, because I write also. And so I went, but I said, I need to do something, give back to the world. So that's when I became the teacher. And that's how I ended up in Lowell, Montana.
What kind of things do you write?
I actually have written a couple novels that only a couple people have read. I've had a short story published, and I've written a bunch more that weren't. I'm a pretty good writer, I guess. I don't really enjoy it that much, mostly because I have a really terrible editor in my head, like we all do, I guess. This is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. And also I know what it's like to the publishing world, and I am just not interested in selling and pushing and marketing, and I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I wrote a couple scenes for, I wrote a script, my friend and I wrote a script for a show called Dream Street, which no one heard of. It was in New Jersey. I lived there for a while to do that. And I wrote a eulogy for a scene in the Rockford Files, because my boss, David Chase, didn't want to write it. He said, "Will you write it?" I said, "Sure." And it's funny because someone came to me, the script supervisor came to me and said, "David didn't write that scene, did he?" And I went, "Why?" She said, "It has too much heart."
Oh.
So
we want to know what your novels were about.
Oh, please. No.
What the names are.
No. One of them I just threw away, and one I might chip away at it. I do it just because. Now, I'll tell you about, it must be 4 o'clock by now. I've been talking. The first one, which I think I just got rid of, it was called Accidentally on Purpose. And I wrote it when I was in Los Angeles. I wrote it in 95 and 96. I was living in basically an abandoned warehouse in Englewood, Colorado. It was a former silkscreen factory. There was a metal artist downstairs, and I was upstairs. And I wrote it, and it was about, get this. This was a long time ago. It was about a woman in LA
she gets tired of everything. Various things have happened, and okay, this is before my life, right?
Yes.
She just gives away her stuff. Okay? She gives away her stuff. She's going to drive until she runs out of gas, and that's where she's going to live. So she ends up in this tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and blah, blah, blah. Somewhere in the middle, she's living in a trailer in the middle of a pasture. Okay? And, things happen. So I'd forgotten I'd written that. I swear I'd forgotten. So it's years later. I'm in Colorado. I'm living in a trailer in a horse pasture. And I'm cleaning out my trailer under the bed. I love trailers. And I'm like, wow, I forgot this. And I'm going through it, and first of all, I'm going, that's not too bad. And then I get about 2/3 of the way through, and I stop, and the character is living in a trailer in a pasture in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, this is freaky.
Isn't that weird?
Well, and the character the character in the novel left the town in a 2-seater convertible. At the time, I didn't have a 2-seater convertible. But when I left LA, I did.
You did.
Isn't that crazy?
That's weird.
It's really weird. I tell myself, be careful what you write from now on.
Yeah, make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Only this person.
You have your own island somewhere. Write that.
What kind of convertible did you have? What kind of car?
I had a Mercedes SLK.
Oh, wow.
The 230.
Wow.
Yep. With the automatic hardtop, and I had low profile performance tires, and the first hint of frost in Colorado, I couldn't even get out of a parking spot. So I thought, well, I had Aero, and then of course I had Enu, because that's a whole other story. So I thought, well, Aero's not showing the sea with Enu. They're fighting all the time, and I want a truck, dang it. So I went to one of those places where you should never get a car. It's one of those lots that you should never go to.
Uh-huh.
And so I drove up Castle Rock, Colorado. I said, I had my Mercedes. I said, I need to trade straight across, and I need to be out of here in 20 minutes. Right? Recipe for disaster? No. My truck is the best. 99 F-250, 145,000 miles, never a bad day.
Oh,
so that worked out. That worked out.
That's great.
Yep. So that's all I've got for you.
I love your story. That's great.
Yeah. I've never really had a plan, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day to day.
Why not?
The way you were about Mongolia when I went to Guatemala, because we went way up in the mountains.
Oh, really?
And it was, like you said, it was lush and green, and we loved the people. And
yes.
And they had some horses, and we didn't ride any horses or anything, but they had small horses that they worked to death. But
yes, right.
They didn't use any. When we first started going, there were no cars in that village at all. And then
wow.
Eventually, after 8 or 10 years, a van started coming up.
Yes.
That way. I guess they did have the chicken bus that came through once in a while.
Yes,
a time or two a day. But they were like at the end of the road up in the mountains in Guatemala. But
wow,
it's like, it changes your life. For sure.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, and the people are just so nice. Just so nice. I had that experience on Easter Island. Also, I went to Easter Island, and the people were just amazing.
Yeah. Trying to see what anybody's written here. Kooky wants you to have a couple of wobbly pops and sit down and tell us some more stories.
Have a couple what?
Wobbly pops.
Oh, is that alcohol?
That's beers. That's Oreo.
Oh, you know what? I quit drinking. But I'll still regale you. See, you have the wobbly pops, and I am much more entertaining.
I don't drink either. So
yeah, good for you.
I might have a strawberry daiquiri now and then, but it's usually a virgin strawberry.
There you go.
I just like all the strawberry stuff.
There you go.
You know, yeah, because someone else said to me, yeah, I don't drink anymore. I hit my limit. And I said, oh, there's a limit? If I'd known that, I would have dragged it out much longer. Nah.
Celia says you can have coffee.
Oh, I do, see. I like strong, black, bitter coffee in a bad diner in one of those really heavy mugs with a crack in it. That's my heaven right there.
Yep. Good old down home cafe.
Yes, there's a great one in Missoula called Ruby's.
Oh.
Yep. Hi. Do you want to say hi? This must be Clark. It is Clark. Do we have any more questions or comments or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Did I miss anything, you guys?
Gabby, by the way, for all your reticence, you've been spectacular.
Oh, gosh.
You really have. Hasn't she, everybody? Hasn't she?
Debatable.
No, it's not. Well, I think I'm going to help Jake. I think Jake and I are going to drive down to the manure pile and move some lumber. And I believe mucking will wait till tomorrow. I've got a bunch of stuff. I went to Stevensville today because Max had a chiropractic appointment, but then I got a call that the dog chiropractor got stuck in Idaho because there was a windstorm and they shut the highway.
Oh.
Yeah, we're very close to Idaho. So she couldn't get here. So anyway, so I went to the feed store and loaded up on supplies. So I'll be unloading that, and then I'm going to feed, and then tomorrow's another day.
All right. Very good.
So if there's no more comments, I'll sign off.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, Gabby, thank you.
Love hearing all your stories.
There's a bald eagle way high over the mountain. So anyway. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot, Gab.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Talk to you guys later.